Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game between ttlBaRoN and EGLzGaMeR. So EGLzGaMeR is in the top right position as the red Zerg player, and we have got baRoN as the blue Protoss player in the bottom left. And the map is ttlBaRoN. It is a ladder game on the North Americans Master League, and obviously because it is ttlBaRoN, a nice easy natural base for both players. However, LZ is going to have a bit of a trouble because obviously there's these rocks blocking the third base, and that means he's either got to go a long way out of position to take his third quickly, or he's also got to go a long way out of position. Basically, it makes it a bit of a nightmare if baRoN does decide to go for that fast expand, which judging by this pylon is something he is almost certainly going to do. Meanwhile, LZ, he is at 10 supply, getting his overlord out, everything going pretty standard at the moment. If we take a look down at baRoN's base, again everything's standard, neither player really trying to do anything too crazy. Obviously the downside of this map is it's so huge and you can spawn at any position, so baRoN's not going to scout first, and I mean, to be honest, it just means that if there was a 6 ball, it would come kind of unexpectedly, but likewise, even if there was a 6 ball, it would take so freaking long to get across the map that you can defend it easily. So in that sense, it's quite balanced. This map really does favour a kind of more macro game. If anything, I'd say it's slightly in favour of Protoss, purely because the rock's blocking the third, and it means that you are on equal bases with the Protoss player for quite a long time as a Zerg, or you have to take a really risky third base, which is so far out that it can get taken down quite easily. Now baRoN is choosing to get the Forge before Nexus, so just playing a bit safer, and meanwhile LZ is getting out his pool first, which is pretty damn standard. There is this probe just kind of coming back to base, knows what's going on, knows everything that's happening. Meanwhile, there is also this probe up at LZ's base on a nice little patrol pattern round here, just to make sure that that hatch is delayed for as long as possible. May even force a Zergling or two in order to take it down, although because it's on a patrol pattern, this drone should be able to kill it eventually. But baRoN, nice quick work there, just taking it off that patrol, so it should get blocked. And now, meanwhile, LZ is just bringing this drone in, giving it a look around, scouting to see what is actually happening. May even get to pick off one himself. Meanwhile, is coming back, and I mean, still this is a pylon block down here as well, so that's a big delay on the base. Obviously, go wait for these 6 Zerglings to come out. Meanwhile, first cannon is on its way down, and LZ actually going for a proxy hatch. Now, putting it right next to the cannon, that's a bit of a strange move. It does prevent the wall off, obviously, but I mean, it will let those 6lings in, but a second cannon is forced as well. So I guess a lot of people don't like a kind of proxy hatch because it's a big investment, but if you look at what it's forcing baRoN to invest in, two cannons, which straight away is equal to the hatchery, and that's if LZ doesn't cancel it. So meanwhile, it also means that these Zerglings can run straight in. The probe is trying to block it off, but with a well-timed cancel, LZ can just run straight in there, and just as he is going to do, and that means that really all 6 of those 5 Zerglings will get in straight away. And really, this is quite a nice little move by LZ. Obviously, 5 Zerglings in the base is going to be hard to deal with. There's no cannon in the middle as main line there, so we could see quite a few probes get taken out, but good kind of control by baRoN there, just using the minimal tricks, although doesn't want to be fighting in a choke because obviously without surround the Zerglings will do very, very heavy damage. But so far, very little gone down. Only 2 killed so far by LZ there, and obviously it is quite a big investment getting those 6 Zerglings out super quickly. LZ's actually taking his natural base up in that very, very top position on the minimap during all of this, and to be honest, that's a long way out, and he has actually going to be going for his third base there as well after they have been taken out. And these Zerglings are still just causing problems, and it's lost mining times. That is the real biggest thing. Any kill probe is a bonus, but every time the baRoN does actually pull his probes to try and deal with the Zerglings, it is lost mining time. There is one Zealot coming in now, and it will be able to clean up these Zerglings. There's no real way you can take out a Zealot with only 3 Zerglings, especially when they're on such low HP. But again, LZ can just keep running them around, keep getting scouting information. He knows that 2 gases are down, and really it's just put him in a nice position. In terms of drone count, in work count, they are pretty damn equal, which is not really where LZ wants to be at this stage of the game, but it shouldn't matter too much because his second base is now up, and so is his third base about half done. So very, very soon we will probably see LZ taking a big worker lead, which is exactly what he needs to do. Meanwhile though, this wall off is a bit awkward. I mean, this cannon won't do anything if LZ does decide to go in with some roaches, but I mean, it's going to be pretty easy defended because there is a sentry coming out. Warp Gate Tech is also on the way, and the final Zergling has now been picked off, which means... Oh, no, it hasn't. It's still running around. There is still one Zergling getting all of this scouting information, although how long it will survive really depends until that sentry comes out, and if ttlBaRoN does decide to go and kill it. But obviously scouting is essential for the Zerg player because it means they can build the appropriate response, because unlike Protoss and ttlBaRoN, Zerg don't really have a set build order. It's kind of more just whether they're going to go a hatch or a pool first, and then when they need to be aggressive and what tech they need to go in order to not die. Whereas with Protoss and ttlBaRoN, you can be pretty safe against most things super early on if you do choose to play safely. So obviously EGLZ now does have complete information about what's happening, getting his Roach Rotten down. I would expect to see a evolution chamber very soon. It's a very common timing where if you get the Roach Rotten with the evolution chamber, not only do you get upgrades, but you get those spore crawlers which keeps you safe from air and also DTs. So it'll be interesting to see if EGLZ does get that. It looks like he's not. Usually it would have gone down by now, and you'll probably find the reason he is delaying it is because he knows from that Zergling he had in the base for ages that there's absolutely no chance of air coming out super quickly. A Twilight Council and a robotics facility on the way for ttlBaRoN, so we'll probably see Blink come out fairly soon. This spine crawler is essential that EGLZ's just got down now. Basically, because he is so far away from his other two hatcheries, that if he doesn't have any static defense here, literally some zealots can waltz in and snipe down this hatch before EGLZ can get his army over there. And if he lost that hatchery, then he'd be in a lot of problems. Meanwhile, 3 more gateways coming down here. So it's going to be a 4-gate robo, probably a 4-gate blink robo play, +1 on the way as well, so we may see that sync up, or maybe a +2 timing, depending on how aggressive ttlBaRoN is feeling. Meanwhile, if we take a look at the worker count, it is 50 to 46, so EGLZ could really do with getting a bit more ahead. He is getting 13 drones out though, which are literally about to pop. So if we take another look now, it is 63 to 46, which is a bit more healthy looking. There is one evolution chamber. There is only the one at the moment, so no upgrades coming out either yet, but it does mean he can get spores if needed. Getting Lair on the way, and there is the +1 carapace upgrade for the ground army. There are still 3 more gateways coming out, so 2 more. There's going to be 2, 5, 6 gate, obviously with Blink, which can be very strong, and also there is this robotics facility out. Now, I'll be interesting to see if an Immortal does come out yet, because obviously an Immortal will be very strong against roaches, or if he's just going to go straight for Colossus tech. But if you take a look around here, I mean, EGLZ's in a pretty strong position defensively. He is holding all of the watchtowers, I do believe. Yep, so all the watchtowers, he knows exactly what's going on. This observer, though, for ttlBaRoN will give him all the scouting information he needs. EGLZ is getting out his macro hatch. Now, the rocks have been taken down for this third, so EGLZ probably going to go and take his 4th base relatively quickly, and it is kind of essentially does, because likewise ttlBaRoN is taking down those rocks to his 3rd, so as a Zerg player you want to keep 1 base up. Now, there is this little movement of Zerglings. They are speedlings, and obviously if they come through they could pick off some stuff, but I don't think they'll quite get there in time, so ttlBaRoN should be fine. He's getting out that Immortal. Blink is pretty much done. And I mean, other than that, no other real obvious tech. The +2 is about half done, so I think it'll be a kind of +2 timing push, and a Dark Shrine coming out with a robotics bay as well. So this really gives ttlBaRoN a lot of options. He can go for a DT play, which would actually be quite effective at the moment. I don't think there's a spore crawler here, no overseers either, so there isn't actually any spore crawlers. There is an infestation pit coming down, but I mean, DTs could do a lot on this map, and it could be very effective. So I look forward to seeing if ttlBaRoN does utilise that well. Meanwhile, we have just got this little ball of units, and because these Zerglings are here, it could delay this 3rd base of ttlBaRoN going down. EGLZ needs to kind of push in, poke and prod, and here we go, exactly as I thought. I'm just going to run straight in, and most of ttlBaRoN's army is out of position and may force the cancel. There we go. So, just forces a cancel, which is 100 minerals lost. He didn't lose anything from that, and also just delays that 3rd base a bit longer. Blink is now done. The first Immortal is... 2 Immortals are actually out. Thermal Lance on the way, along with the first Colossus. The DT Shrine should be finishing up soon, but there's no kind of pylons or anything in a forward position as far as I can see. So DTs won't be super effective, and I mean, ttlBaRoN's learned his lesson, leaving some units here just to prevent another Ling run by doing too much damage, taking down the 3rd and 4th, no, the 5th and 6th gas rather. Meanwhile, EGLZ has got 3 6 gases and hasn't actually started taking his 7th and 8th gas yet, which obviously gas is the key thing for a Zerg player. He is getting out some infestors. Pathogen Glands is on the way. 2-2 is on the way as well for those Zerglings, as well as +1 missile attack for the Roaches. So actually 3 evolution chambers now. I don't actually think I've ever seen a game where there has been triple upgrades going on, but go on LZ, upgrades are awesome. So anyway, taking a look down here, this one spine core is starting to look a bit vulnerable, especially when these DTs are coming in. Now this could do huge damage. They won't have been scouted on the minimap by those towers, and I mean, LZ just has lots of roaches and he has absolutely no detection. Is morphing in though. There we go. So this hatch should just be able to stay up if he is very, very lucky. Needs to pull those roaches over though. A transfuse does go off on the hatch and it's going to be close, but should just keep it up. And that was quite lucky by LZ, getting that detection just in time there. Meanwhile, these Lings are still here, posing a threat for a counterattack onto this third base, but 3 cannons will basically stop anything going on there. Obviously, great pylon placement as well, preventing the Lings getting us around on the cannons as well. Meanwhile, the Colossus count is actually starting to rack up. He's got 1 out already, getting a second on the way, got a couple of Immortals. +2 is done, +3 ground weapons is going to be finished soon for Baron, and this roach push could have a bit of problems because +1 missile attack is about to finish. So it'll be 1-1 against 0-2, and it's quite even. The infestors will tip it in favour, obviously, of LZ, but of course there are 2 Colossus and 2 Immortals there, and with good force fields there's no way that LZ is going to be able to do much here. But LZ already up at Hive Tech, getting his Ultralisk Cavern, Baling Nest, Ultras, getting 2-2 is finishing up, +2 missile attack is on the way, also getting the Adrenal Glands upgrade, which I love to see. It's basically pretty much a super cheap upgrade for getting a lot more damage out of your Zerglings, and since he's getting 2-2 for those Zerglings, I'd imagine that they will play a predominant part in the game later on. 2 more gateways joining in here for Baron as well. Both players playing very defensively, and this was sniped out. I can't believe I missed that, but that was sniped out at some point while I was just checking the army composition. So, I mean, I guess it was just from a couple of stalkers. I saw a stalker body there, but obviously that was a big gain, and this is now going to be the 4th base. The 4th and 5th base are going to be building simultaneously. A second spine added in here as well, and I mean, this is a good position for Baron. He's really pulled it back now by sniping down that base, and I wish I'd seen it because I'm not quite sure how he got through. Now, this is a lot of probes coming up. I'm not quite sure what Baron is doing here with these probes. They are all going to get sniped off. He must be just doing it to free up supply. And if we take a look at the count, it is 76 probes to 74 workers. So you don't often actually see the Protoss player with more workers than the Zerg player. So maybe that's why he's trying to clear them up. But actually putting down some pylons as well. And I'd imagine this probe coming up here is going to stick down a pylon, and obviously with the DTs that could be super effective. All he needs is some DTs down here. Great scouting going on there as well. And I mean, to be honest, LZ is just waiting possibly a bit too long to do something here, because if we take a look down at Baron's army, he has got quite a lot of stuff coming in. There's a 4th Colossus, 4 Colossus, 2 Immortals, and a lot of Stalkers. +3 attack is also about to finish. And here we go, some DTs warping in. 2 DTs and 2 Zealots will be able to take that base out super quickly, and LZ's army is so far out of position. Meanwhile, we have got pylon up here. Not much going on. We have got an engagement looking like it could go out any minute. Meanwhile, if you take a look up here, this base is going to go down, so that really puts LZ back onto a 4-base position. And now a couple of sentries are going to go down here, and those Zerglings are going to be able to run straight through. That is quite a bad position now. Straight away, we have got a Zergling run by and roaches down here as well, which did pull all of Baron's army through. And I mean, just look at those Zerglings do huge damage. There's so many roaches taking down the natural base of Baron as well, and I mean, all of those probes are just going to die to those roaches so quickly, and a lot of Ultralisks on the way. Now, I mean, Baron should be able to clean this up. He's got so many Colossi, but still, if you take a look down here, the main base goes down as well. So LZ on a great little push, distracting Baron with that push at the 3rd, causing Baron to pull all of his army, allowing those Zerglings and roaches to get into the main, and it really puts Baron back down onto only 1 mining base, and that is never a good position to be in. Meanwhile, if we take a look up here, this base has been sniped, and we are looking as if there are some Zealots trying to come in to do some damage here, but just 3 spines will be able to deal with all of that relatively easily. And I mean, there are 2 cannons up here, so this is just preventing LZ from taking that base too quickly. No attempt to retake this base either. And if we take a look down, I mean, ttlBaRoN really has to just go and win now. That is his only option. But look at all these banelings. 38 banelings, 70 zerglings on the way. Plus 3 just finished up as well. 3-5 ultralisks. Infestors, ultras. I mean, to be honest, this is going to be a tough push because of just a pure number of colossi and immortals. But I mean, there's just so many banelings here. One DT does try to gain it. Now there are quite a few zealots here. Now all the ultras have pulled back, but just look at all the banelings. Good movement there. A spine wall has also been constructed, so LZ's in a good position here. He could do with moving that overseer kind of a bit forward just to deal with any DTs that possibly are with the army. But Baron's just having to pull back, and I mean, he still hasn't got his natural base back up or his main base, so he is mining just off this one base, and that is not a good position. Keeps just warping in stalkers though, warping in some zealots as well. Going to try and take out that overseer, it looks like, and that could be quite a big gain. Meanwhile, I mean, LZ's just running stuff around. He's coming back to defend this, and a couple of drones are going to go down. A DT is getting warped in somewhere just down here to go and scout, but this will get cleaned up pretty easily. Some banelings are actually exploding on those stalkers, which isn't ideal, but doesn't matter too much just because LZ has got such a better economy. And now an infestor does actually get picked off. Now that's quite nicely done. For, I mean, getting an infestor for 1 DT is very, very nice indeed. Meanwhile, ttlBaRoN is just not in a good position. He's getting +1. It's about to finish up. Meanwhile, LZ just isn't actually building anything. I'm surprised about that. He's building more spines and detection now, and a good DT warp in. A lot more zealots coming in as well. This could cause a bit of a problem. LZ's trying to move out, but I'm surprised he just didn't wait around until these spines were done and the spore, because that hatchery could now fall. I think it should just be able to stand up, especially now that whole army is coming in. But again, it's a risk you don't want to be taking. I mean, LZ doesn't need to take risks. He needs to protect all of his expansions, and then he'll be absolutely fine. I'm surprised he also hasn't started getting Broodlord tech. Getting the speed upgrade for those overlords, not getting the ventricle sacks though, so nothing else coming down there. There is this DT here, and we'll probably see just an infestor go off and drop a fungal growth, or not even going to bother, apparently. I would have liked to have seen him clean that out. I don't even know if he knows it's there, but here we go. Just actually waiting for the overseers coming in. I mean, again, it just takes such a long time for them to get anywhere, but keeping some with his army, and that's why he's getting that speed upgrade for them. Meanwhile, ttlBaRoN has got all 3 bases back up, but he is still on 3 bases, and that's just not a good position to be in. Upgrade-wise, it's 3-3 zerglings. I mean, completely upgraded on LZ's side to 3-1. So this is, he's got to go and push, but the trouble is, this is such a nice position to hold for the Protoss. I mean, the banelings will get funneled through, the zerglings won't be able to get us around, and the ultralisks won't be able to get in either. So I mean, it's one of the reasons why a lot of Zerg players do favour Broodlords over Ultralisks, just because they can attack in these clumped up positions. But here we go, LZ is going to go for it. He does have a slight food advantage, and a lot of those banelings are engaging. Some attempts at good force fields, but here we go. So many banelings going in, and it's just rolling in absolutely everywhere. Hide the health bars here, and you will see just the absolute destruction going on. A neural power site going on with Colossi as well. That is a really, really nice move, and I mean, that is pretty much GG. It was a good engagement by LZ there, and there we go, there is the GG, and a good game. I mean, LZ could have done a better job defending his expansions, in my opinion, but a great little play won in the game, where he drew all of ttlBaRoN's army to his third base with just a couple of lings and roaches, and then ran in with quite a few lings and roaches into the main and natural base. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also follow me on Twitter. Thank you very much. Catch you again soon.